Welcome to another video from Twisted Dice. I'm Darren, and today I'm being joined by Nick from Idic Beer. And Nick is well known in the community for his awesome content around Necrons and anything and everything to do with Necrons. Welcome, Nick.
Hello, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure to be here.
Absolute pleasure having you on, sir. Absolute pleasure. So first of all, I want to say a massive great well done for hitting that 2k subs. 20k subs even. 2k? No, sir. I'm 18,000 more than that.
Yeah, it's been a very good year for me, obviously, especially with all the Necron goodness, which has been coming out. It's obviously boosted my numbers a little bit. So yeah, that's really good. And 20k, wow, amazing. Yeah.
You've had an absolute smashing year, Nick. Absolute smashing. So well done, first off. And definitely for all the support that you've offered into the community as well, especially all the new starting up channels as well. All the shout outs you do from that, that's absolutely massive. So massive great pat on the back for that, sir.
Thank you.
So let's talk, Nick, about Necrons. So first off, Nick, why do you collect Necrons? What attracts you to the Necron force? The side of the greens, the green glow, or the orange glow, whatever takes your fancy, of course.
Oh, no, definitely green. Definitely green. Well, I've been playing Necrons for a very long time now, so about 19 years. And what attracted me to the Necrons was the picture on the front of the Codex, the 3rd edition Codex, and I fell in love with the army straight off just that picture on the Codex. And I think it's my love for Terminator, the movies.
Yeah,
probably did it. Yeah, robotics, the Terminators, and I prefer science fiction more than anything. So yeah, they just sort of floated my boat really. And my first ever unit was the Necron Warriors, and always remember, I built them, I painted them, showed them to my wargaming buddy, and he said, "But what about the mould lines?" I had no idea about the mould lines and stuff. That's I was a real noob back then, so I had to scrape all the mould lines up and repaint them.
But they led back then?
No, it wasn't that long ago.
Right. Okay, so it was the plastic ones with the green rods.
Yeah, the ones with the green rods, which have just been replaced by brand new ones.
I was going to say, I bet you're excited for the new ones, right?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, I've got a lot of warriors already. And obviously GW have given us a very nice new gun with the set, which is obviously designed to help sell the new warriors to old Necron players.
Yep.
And whilst obviously at first the gun was very short ranged, we now know a few bits and pieces that are happening within some of the rules, which is going to make the guns a lot better than they first seemed. So yeah, I think it will be Gauss Reapers all the way, pretty much.
Of course, it's going to be the new hotness.
Yes, yeah, I think so.
The special green goo.
Yeah.
What is it they fire? Is it like las? It's like
a little laser thing, I think.
Little green bolts of light or green energy.
Yeah, judging from the Warhammer trailer where Necrons couldn't kill anything.
Yeah. I don't know. Look, the trailer actually made the Necrons look very, very sexy. Like there was some form of appeal from the Necrons from that trailer. Especially when you had the big dude coming in with the big old scythe. With the big old blade. It's just like.
Cool. I would just like to have seen them kill a few more people than they did. I counted 2 people that they killed in the whole trailer.
Did they have red jackets on?
No, they were
Well, there you go, you see. They all had names, you see, Nick. They're all characters. They're not going to kill them off, are they? It's only the ones that don't have names and characters die off, you see. Yeah. But no, yeah, you're right.
All jokes aside, I mean, it's just awesome to have Necrons at the forefront, of the new stuff that's coming out. And obviously we've got even more new models coming, which is going to be fantastic. The Void Dragon, the Silent King. It's a fantastic time to be into Necrons.
And the Silent King on himself looks you know, an absolute friggin' stunning model from the pictures we've seen so far.
Yeah.
You know, I wonder if they're going to be able to do him, because at the moment he's on that. It's kind of on his little barge thing, isn't he?
Yeah, it's got like a chair basically, isn't he?
Yeah, I wonder if you could do it so he's not specifically. You can take him off that chair and just
It
have him.
doesn't look like it because he's got like a big cape on, which is like below his legs and like rolling down the stairs.
Yeah, that's a shame.
So I think he's just going to be on his throne as such. But yeah, I don't see there's anything wrong with that. I think that'd be probably about right. Otherwise, they'll probably have to do like 2 sets of rules and stuff as well.
Yeah, I suppose it depends, because there hasn't been none of the rules came out. They haven't said what his rules are going to be yet, have they?
No, we've only got the rumours of the rules. Yeah.
Of course, we don't talk about the rumours. We like to talk about what's fact, and you know, facts, not fiction.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. What we see, you know, black and white. That's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what they do with him, whether whatever he's standing on plays a massive great part on it, or whether or not you could model take him off that, cut him off that throne, and actually put him in, like, you know, I can just imagine him coming into a set of ruins, like after the Marines, as they're running away, carrying for their lives, and he's just there, like, you know, that's how I envisioned him anyway, and that's how I'd like to.
It would be cool, yeah. And like the command barge, when they first brought that out, you could put different characters inside.
That's it.
Now it's just the Overlord. I think for simplicity reasons, they'll probably just keep it. That's the model. These are the rules, and that's it.
But still, an absolute stunning model, and that's the bottom line of it. He really is an absolute stunning model. And of course, you know, we've got the new destroyers as well coming out.
New destroyers, yeah.
I'm in two minds whether I like them or whether I prefer the old ones.
I like the old models. I'm a big fan of them. But there's no doubt the new ones look awesome.
They do. You're right. They do look awesome. But I'm not sure about the backside on them. The way they round off. I'm not too sure if I'm keen on that.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen some of the original artwork for the destroyers. They're actually very close to the really old black and white artwork.
Oh, really?
They've got that same look about them. And maybe they've done this like arcing round at the back as well, because they're no longer on flying stems. The model itself is attached to the base.
Interesting. So less chance of the actual model getting broken off, which is...
Yeah, exactly. It does seem like they're sort of starting to move away from those flying stems.
Yeah, that's interesting, because obviously a lot of the Sisters of Battle stuff, they've got the plastic stems, and some of the new Marines... Well, the jump Marines, and they're not jump Marines, are they? I've forgotten what they're called. The ones that jump in with the big old plasma guns either side. They've still got the stems, which always, everyone I know that plays them always seems to have them break. When they've figured out a way of like sticking them on something else. So, yeah, I suppose coming away from that plastic stem is definitely going in the right direction for it. That's for sure. So, we talked about some cool things. Now, we're going to talk about the next thing we are going to talk about. Of course, as I say, we're not talking about rumours. We're going to talk about things that we know for sure. So, there's a couple of units that Games Workshop on the community webpage or on their Facebook page have put up on 2 units from the Necron units. So, one being the Death Marks. Now, it's interesting with the Death Marks, right? Now, the Death Marks have got a better range, so going from 24 to 36, was it?
36, yeah.
That's it. And then it's going from Strength 4 to Strength 5. Yeah. And now doing 2 damage. No, better minus, sorry.
Minus 2 AP, where they were 0 previously, but it's now a heavy weapon rather than rapid fire.
So that's the only downside, really, on that. So... But like we were talking earlier about this, and you said like if you were going to put them onto the board, you would never have them. You know, you would never deep strike them. You would always have them coming on the board anyway, right?
And well, not many people played them previously because the thing is with the rapid fire, it sounds really good, but you have to obviously be quite close.
Yeah.
And they do have the ability to reserve and come in from reserve. and you can even do they had like the intercept rule as well, but they just didn't do enough damage. That was the issue with them.
Yeah.
At least now, whilst you almost are taking that unique ability away from them, at least now you can just deploy them like normal snipers. You know, put them in a building. They've got the nice long range gun. Even though it's heavy, you know, you can still just stand there and snipe out characters, which is going to be very useful.
It's definitely going to be very, 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 very useful in this edition. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And of course, again, the board being smaller does benefit them as well. So it gives them that. Doesn't give them any extra range, but what it does, it stops more units like deploying further away from you, forcing you then to move out of the position and getting into a position where they can actually shoot. And of course, I suppose the biggest thing we don't know of yet is the points on how much points they are when they come out.
No, we've obviously got how many points they are in the new handbook thing. Whether that's going to be the same. Just trying to grab it. Can't find it. Oh, here we go. So professional. I'm usually much more professional on my channel than this. Right, here we go. So, death marks, 16 points a model.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. The main issue previously was you basically were relying on getting those 6s for the mortal wounds. Because strength 4, 0 AP did nothing. At least now with the strength 5 minus 2 AP, it means that at least they can do some work without having to get those 6s. But obviously if you get the 6s, generating the mortal wounds,
it's going to be really good.
That's even better. So they've definitely improved a great deal, which is great to see because people love the Deathmark models, but very rarely they play them, you know. So
yeah, they were, you know, they are a good, nice looking bit of kit.
Yeah.
How long have they been around for? 5, 6 years? No, it's got to be longer than that.
So I think they came out with the updated end of 5th edition codex that came out, where they did a whole model range, and the Ghost Arc came out, the Doomsday Arc, Annihilation Barge, and then your new Immortals and Death Marks.
Yeah, I can remember all that coming out, and it was like, wow, they're looking really. And I did get some of them, but never. They kind of went into my hobby box of shame.
And that was the last time we had a big update, apart from the Canoptic Cryptek that came out in Forgebane.
And that's got. And then what's the? And there's another unit as well. They've announced as well, which was the Praetorians. Praetorians, that's it.
Yeah.
And then the Praetorians went from.
Not too much change. I think it's, the damage basically. So they're 2 damage now as opposed to 1.
That's it. And the AP is still the same. That's it. Just the damage.
Yeah.
Does that make them a better unit?
Well, it means they can do more damage.
Are they a good unit?
Well, potentially. I mean, now pretty much any Space Marine's got 2 wounds.
It's taking out a Marine.
Yeah, it's going to take out Marine. So, is it got better? Well, if Marines have all got 2 wounds now as opposed to 1, they're going to be in a similar place.
Well, it's funny you should say that. I was about to say, now the old Marines are getting that little buff of going up an extra wound, making it the same as Primera. So it kind of then makes sense for them to get the 2 damage. Otherwise, they're not really gonna
step up to it, are they?
No, and they, anything with multiple wounds, they're gonna. On the old stats, they are gonna really struggle against. They'd be great for cleaning Orcs or Genestealer Cult, Elder, but as soon as they come up against the Marines, the Marines are just gonna laugh at them and go, no worries, you're not really gonna do anything for me. And again, then I'm not too sure on the model.
The model is good. I mean, I find it hard to take them because I like playing Wraiths.
Yeah.
The Wraith with the 3+ invulnerable save, where previously I think it might be moving potentially to a 4+, judging from what's happening to invulnerable saves. But yeah, with the 3+ invulnerable save, they're
you know what I'm saying that for, don't you?
Yeah.
So a little background, me and Nick had a game last year, and Nick kind of punished me a little bit with his wraiths, but that's what we're going to talk about it.
The good thing about wraiths is they work very independently from the rest of the army. Which, when you have an army which really has to like work together, you know, you need them working together, doing the right things, being in the right place. Wraiths can do what they want. You know, you can put them down, charge them, flank them, do whatever you want with them, and they don't need support. I mean, if they have support, great. I mean, if you have a cryptek nearby, then you can throw on reanimation protocols onto them so they come back up on a 4+. You know, you've got some abilities, but they don't need it. You know, they can work independently, and you know they're not too bad in close combat. I mean, they're not like close combat beasts, but they do attract a lot of attention, and that takes the heat off the rest of your army.
Yes,
whereas
it does.
when I play Praetorians are just normal. It's a normal mini that just dies quite easily, so not quite the same, you know.
No, but you know the wraiths can play a massive great distraction role as well, right?
Yeah.
You know, if you've got the wraiths coming up one side of the board and you've got to deal with them, because you can't afford to let them get into base contact with you. Was they're gonna you know rip you a new one, but then in the same sense, if they're firing them, they're not firing other stuff that's coming on the board. So yeah, I think you're right. I think the wraiths are definitely a better choice.
Yeah.
Over the
it's also like it's easy to deploy them as well. So you know when you've got your army on your tray and playing your game and you're deploying, you're thinking, right, what terrain have I got? Right, I need to put the Immortals in terrain so they get their 2+ save. I need this in over there. I need the Doomsday Ark on top of that building. Wraiths, I can just deploy them in the open. They don't need the terrain. They don't take up terrain space. You know, and that's a good thing about them as well. Helps with deployment.
It's a good shout on that. That didn't even cross my mind on how you would deploy them.
Yeah.
And again, at the moment, like, because them got up to a 4+ wound, that's not confirmed, is it?
It's not confirmed, no.
So potentially we could get the new codex, and it could still be a free-up invulnerable save.
It could well be, yeah.
Be interesting. I'm surprised they didn't. We haven't seen any new models for them. They are still quite stunning model, but what I'm saying is because there's got so many other models coming out at the moment. You know, whether they got a little bit of
the wraiths aren't actually that old. They've got a plastic one. Obviously, I still use the old metal ones.
Of course, yeah. I remember the metal ones now.
Yeah.
Because the metal ones kind of had their little arms up like that, didn't they? And
yeah, very skinny. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. God, do you know what? I did have a couple of those in bits, just stashed away in a box somewhere up in the loft room. And I did think about putting them together, and just for nostalgia, I thought they would look really cool, like in the cabinet. Like everything though, everything else, something new comes out, and then that takes up my project before anything else. And then obviously the last big thing we know of is obviously the Monolith. Now, if you want to find out more information, Nick has an awesome video on the Monolith, so go check it out on that side. So we don't need to talk about that because Nick will go into a little bit more detail on that one. So definitely well worth checking that one out. So then,
well, we don't really know the rules of the Monolith.
No, of course not.
It's mainly the model itself. So the video I've made is talking about the model, and of course, don't forget we've got the Void Dragon coming, the new Catan.
Do you know what? I forgot about that. That's It's interesting because I was looking on their website today, and so there's a couple of units from the Necron army that are no longer available. So like the Catan with the scythe, he's not available at the moment.
Nightbringer, yeah.
Nightbringer, that's it. The other dude is. So that's interesting to see what they do with him as well.
I think maybe that could just be stock shortages potentially, but one would think that if the Void Dragon comes out, and obviously he's a lot bigger in size, unless there's particular lore around why he's much bigger, then you would have thought the others would be updated at some point.
Maybe there's potential a kit update coming from.
Quite possibly. Who knows? We might even have a 3 model kit, like that giant. You know, they released the giant, didn't they? You can make it in 3 different versions.
That'd be really awesome.
Yeah,
Because you think about it, because that kit that's old. That's like the same time as like around the one of the Bloodthirsters, and like
and they were metal obviously originally, and now they're fine cast, and hopefully I'm right in saying that Games Workshop are gradually phasing out fine cast. So one would have thought that we will get new plastic versions of both of those miniatures.
Fingers crossed, eh?
Yeah.
And I look forward to definitely painting one up for the studio. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So getting all those green glows and all the exciting stuff on them. But yeah, that does sound really cool. So bringing us coming into the final part of the show. Now, Nick, you've got a battle report coming out very, very soon. That you're going to record one soon.
And I'm playing it tomorrow. Yeah.
So really look forward to seeing that one and what you do with that one. But let's talk about potentially a list that you might be considering in taking in going into 9th.
Yeah, so obviously it's quite hard for us at the moment as a faction, because it's all very exciting. We know what's coming. We've got the Indomitus Necrons, which are slightly limiting because of their data card. So, for example, Scorpec Destroyers, at the moment we can only take them in units of 3. And obviously we've got our fingers crossed that we're going to be able to take bigger units when the Codex comes. So we're in a bit of no man's land, really. So I've taken the point of view, like personally, my task is to build and paint my 2 Indomitus Necron sets that I've got before the Codex comes out. That's been my task. And for my games that I'm going to be playing, I'm using my 8th edition list, which I've amended slightly because of the points. So my list is now 246 points more expensive than it was with the obviously updated points, which, although sounds a lot, when I heard Richard, my Orc opponent that I play, he said his list went up 400 points. So it made me feel a little bit better. So I've just adapted my list, really. But using an 8th edition list, and I think when I first start playing a new edition, I always try to aim just to play for fun rather than trying to be competitive. I think once you get into it a bit more, you gradually tweak your list and you find out the ins and outs of what's happening, and like by the end of it you've got like your most competitive list that you could build for that edition. So I think it's quite refreshing to have a new edition, to think, right, well, actually, I might try that unit out, because if it doesn't work or you get absolutely slaughtered, so almost you've got an excuse. Is that, well, I was just experimenting.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot with that with the Orcs at the moment. Just experimenting with random stuff that I wouldn't normally take.
It's a good time to experiment, when a new edition comes out, and to maybe try to find some new tactics.
How cool would it be to find that little Easter egg that's been hiding away in your army for all that time, and you just stumble upon it and you're like, oh wow, I wish I'd brought this out in 8th.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I've got my list here, and the first thing to notice, I've got 12 command points, which is like just outrageous for Necrons. I have no idea what I'm going to do with all these command points.
Well, at least you could do a command reroll per battle, so you've got a couple of those you can spend.
Yeah, and obviously we gain the command points each turn.
Yep, which is big.
So that's another 5 command points. And I've got Imitate the Stormlord in there, and he gives me another command point. And I'll take the Sotek Warlord trait, which means that every time I use a command point on a 5+, I get the command point back.
Hey!
So, yeah, it's going to be fun. So I'm thinking of the most obscure stratagems that are in my codex. And like, what can I use? Have I got any stratagems I've never used before? Because at one point in 8th edition, most of my lists only had 4 command points. I was playing an Outrider detachment, 4 command points.
Yes.
Where Necrons were in quite a bad place. Obviously, towards the end of 8th, where all the points were adjusted, we were in battalion territory. So yeah, basically I've got a battalion, Imitate the Stormlord, like I said, heading up just because he's one of my favourite characters, and Sotek Dynasty, pretty good shout. Then I've got the Cryptek with the Canoptic Cloak, giving him the Veil of Darkness. Troops, Immortals, the Tesla, of course. I'm sure that Gauss will be the way forward once we get the Codex, it does seem, because we've obviously seen some rumours and leaks. But yeah, 10 Immortals with Tesla, and then 2 squads of 5 with Tesla. And then a Triarch Stalker with a twin Heavy Gauze Cannon to help with the targeting relay rerolls. And then fast attack. This is where I had to drop some of my points. So originally I had 2 units of 6 destroyers and the units of 6 wraiths.
Yeah.
I got them down to units of 5.
Okay.
Just to experiment to see how. Usually my ethos is to take the units maximum squads. I always aim to take them max squads. But obviously with the blast weapon rules around and the fact that I had to drop some points, I thought I'd experiment with 5s and see what difference it makes. And then heavy support, the good old faithful 2 Doomsday Arcs, and to back them up, units of heavy destroyers. That's 2,000 points exactly.
Sounds like a horrible list. And what army are you facing in your battle report?
I'm playing my main gaming buddy, which is cmwargames. He also has a YouTube channel, and I believe he's playing Orcs, although he could turn up with Space Wolves. But I think it's Orcs he's playing. But he's got those like shock attack gun things. Last time I played him, he had like 8 of them, and yeah, he did a lot of damage.
Oh, the smasher guns.
Smasher guns, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. When you said this, you had 8 shock attack. I was like,
I always get confused with the names.
Yeah, no, the smasher guns. No, that's cool.
Yeah, so he had 8 smasher guns.
But you love the smasher guns, though, don't you, Nick?
Oh yeah, love them. Love them. Looters with the spanner and the souped-up shock attack gun. Is it called?
He won't be using so one of the one that everyone really went for was the one where it done the extra, the best one. But you won't be seeing that one now. But then again, the normal one is still pretty tasty.
Yeah. So he's got a very good list. I mean, he does play tournaments, Richard does.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got a lot of long range, like shooting at the back, all shielded with like Grots or Gretchen or whatever. And he's got a lot of boys which come forward and do the jump and the Green Tide. Hate the Green Tide, don't I?
We'll put a link in there. Link for.
He's ignored that.
Sorry.
I said I hate the Green Tide.
You don't hate the Green Tide. You love the Green Tide. Like, what's the Green Tide ever done to you, Nick?
How many men did I not kill? Was it like 2?
I did hear. I was going to say. All I was going to say was like I put a link in the thing for Rich's channel, to check out. So any support you can give him would be absolutely fantastic. And he would absolutely love it. And of course, it's definitely well worth checking out some of his ideas on some of the orcs. So, but yeah, the Green Tide you absolutely love, Nick, and I know you're desperate for that revenge, and we will make it happen. I promise, we'll make it happen. Hopefully, before that happens, we'll have a nice new shiny Orc Codex to come out. Very more extra greeny, and I would happily bring back down the 90 Orc boys. This is where you bring all the blasts. Ha! I can teach you.
Are they all on the correct size bases now, though?
Sorry, Nick, I missed you there. What was that?
Are they?
No, I'm still not hearing that, Nick. No is the answer to that. They are still on. But this is the thing. I brought them on the smaller bases, and of course, Games Workshop decided they're going to change the rules, and they're going to put them on the bigger bases. But I never combated them as like rows of 3 day. I always done it as like maximum I could ever do was rows of 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right.
What about that building you were standing on, though, which could only just fit them on with your small bases?
Oh, you mean with the looters?
Looters, yeah.
The looters come on the smaller bases, don't they?
To be fair, I'm in the same boat because all of my Necron warriors are all on small bases, and obviously my new ones now have got the bigger bases. So it's like, is it time to rebase them?
For me, it's going to be. I'm definitely going to get around to. It's not going to be within the next month, but before I go to another tournament with the orcs, I will make sure that all the orc boys are done. But I need about. It's something crazy. I think it worked out like I need about 300 bases. I need to do. That's a hell of a lot of bases.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. If you're playing in tournaments, you've got to be the correct size, haven't you? When I generally just play at home, you know, with my friends. So not quite as important, but probably one day will take the jump. But then I like the fact that my army does look quite old school as well. So
I suppose one good thing about having the orcs on the bigger bases, and this maybe not so much for your Necron warriors, but it means that for me, my auras are going to be a little bit more effective. As in, like, if I got a squad of looters that I've just lost 4 of them, I've then got the mob rule where I'm taking the leadership on them instead. So that actually benefits me more having the bigger bases. The only kick in the teeth for myself is I brought a load of movement trays. Like, I brought like 100. I can't remember how they come in, but I bought loads of movement trays specifically for the orc boys. And now I'm probably not going to have enough of the apocalypse bigger ones to cater for 90 orc boys. But I think that's a talk for a totally different day. It's definitely an interesting one that's an interesting debate definitely to go into on that. But anyway, Nick, thank you ever so much for joining us tonight on this. Really do appreciate your time. As always, you're an absolute legend. Hopefully, maybe we could do this again, Nick. We'll talk some more stuff. And thank you everyone else out there that's watched and joined us onto this little adventure. It's been absolutely freaking awesome. If you could do us a massive great favour by hitting that like and subscribe, that'd be absolutely awesome. But more importantly, by liking and subscribing to the channel, it's going to notify you of any cool updates that's coming out from ourselves. And of course, the next time me and Nick chat, it's going to remind you. But of course, to do that, you've got to make sure you're hitting the bell and turn on all the notifications. Anyway, that's from me saying goodbye. And Nick,
beam me up.
Yeah. Oh, not the laptop. I'll catch you all later.